Worldwide movement, peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq hollering at you one more again. All right, folks. Um, this is a rather impromptu uh, video. It's actually a live stream that I'm doing. And folks, I'll get right to it. I'm doing this with a heavy heart, right? Aside from all the misery, pain, and suffering that our wonderful children have to deal with on this planet, and specifically right here in the U.S., I can't help but comment on further what is happening in the Gaza Strip, right? Folks, it cannot be overemphasized that we need to put a stop to this, right? I'm going to first go on and state that terrorism in any form is not right, right? At all. It is not a viable solution. It is not a means toward peace. It is simply trying to fight fire with fire, and that just gets everybody burned, right? And often often just involves misguided messaging and a litany of other problems. But the bottom line is, anytime you choose to make a human being suffer to make a point for peace is a misnomer. It's bass backwards, as they say, right? The only route or path toward peace is through peace, right? It's like if you have over here in the U.S., particularly in the quote unquote Black community, we've for years heard different arguments and reasons why peace between gangs has been so difficult, right? And the bottom line is, if you're still killing one another, the road to peace is that much more difficult. So there just is no justification for terrorism, and I feel for any of the Israeli hostages or anybody who's taken hostage by Hamas or any other group. Don't think that I am lost on that. I don't condone or ever want to see that kind of suffering. But what I do want to focus on tonight is what Israel is doing. I made a video before, folks, and I didn't bite my tongue, and I'm not going to now either, right? Quite frankly, the actions of the Israeli government, to me, just plainly look like the actions of World War II Nazis, right? Concentration camp Nazis, right? And worse, or just as bad, however you want to look at it. It's not a competition. It's suffering. It's the lowest form of humanity when you decide at the policy level that the solution is to kill innocent people. I came out and said before that, quite frankly, Netanyahu, in my opinion, is like the new Hitler, if not worse, right? Again, it's not a competition. But what is happening over there? Folks, innocent people, period. When you have people who are, do we all know what a refugee is? It is a human being that is caught in the middle of some form of life or death situation due to military conflict, right? Um, Due to is someone who is seeking refuge. They're seeking shelter. They want peace from war. Bottom line, right? People who are seeking to get away from the death and destruction of war. Only the kind of war that Netanyahu and the Israeli government has been waging in the Gaza Strip goes beyond just war, which is ugly enough. It goes into being the word genocide has been used by a lot of people. I'm not quite sure that is strong enough. I posted on this very channel of mine a video of two United States military personnel who were ushered out. Thank you so much, sister. Thank you so much. And anybody who pays attention to this. I didn't plan to do that. I'm just doing this from the heart because, again, my heart is heavy. Just thinking about this, right? These people are just, when we talk about refugees, they're just literally trying to survive. Can we at all grasp what it is like? No, we can't really. But try to use your imagination to grasp what it is like to have bombs literally bursting over your heads and trying to shield yourselves and your children from the shrapnel and the fragments. What it is like to have a cold military that will roll right in to an area that is supposed to be for refugees. I'm not going to debate whether or not Hamas or any terrorist or anyone tries the tactic of human shielding. Perhaps they do, and if they do, it is absolutely wrong and unconscionable, right? But that doesn't make it okay for you to just go in and indiscriminately kill whoever. It's like you'll say, okay, here's an area. We think there's a few or a group of Hamas here. It happens to be amidst hundreds, if not thousands, of innocent people seeking refuge, and you bomb it to get the few to kill. So you're willing, in order to kill a few, kill many who are innocent. You're willing, in order to kill a few who may be guilty of horrible things. I'm not trying to sugarcoat that aspect of it. But you're so bloodthirsty that you would just aimlessly, I don't want to say aimlessly, because they do aim. This is not accidents, folks. They know they are killing innocent people. There are entire countries. Do you know that recently, when Netanyahu just gave an address at the UN, that over half of the UN got up and walked out? Did you know that? Folks, outside of the United States, people know very well what's going on in the Gaza Strip, and they're not supporting it because it's the ugliest kind of murder that you can think of. Because aside from the fact that they're killing innocent refugee adults, right, who are just innocent people trying to survive, they're killing children like it doesn't mean anything. Children, innocent children, we're talking about babies. They'll take bulldozers and knock down buildings. There have been attacks on hospitals. There's situations where refugees are running away, literally running away from a conflict area or some area that Israel has targeted. And when they go to the place that's supposed to be a designated place of refuge, they get bombed. Folks, it's not right. I started telling you about the U.S. service members earlier who were in attendance at some congressional hearing of some sort. I don't quite have 100% of the details on that, but they wanted to make their voices known to Congress that what is happening over there must be brought to an end. And in their words, the young lady looked at the camera and said, they're over there killing children. In fact, her words were that they are burning children alive. Not my words, her words, a United States service member. I know it's ugly. Some people don't want to think about it or talk about it, but these are children's lives. These are innocent human beings' lives. I know we got a lot going on over here in our country. Far too much suffering, pain, far too much hunger, and too many things domestically that the government essentially turns its back on. Right? I know that many of those billions that are sent abroad should be funneled here in this country to solve domestic issues. I know all that, and I agree with that 100%. But we got to stop letting it be acceptable. We have to stop being so fearful of the anti-Semite label that we won't speak up and say no to the United States sending billions, if not trillions, of our dollars over there to support this horrific effort on the part of Israel's government and specifically Netanyahu. Folks, we gotta have some kind of compassion, some kind of basic compassion for human life, that this is not all right. Don't take my words for this. Look into it and find out the numbers of thousands and thousands of people innocent people, not combatants, innocent people who have been just slaughtered. And then take a look at the number of how many of them are innocent children. This is not all right. It can't be all right. We got to stop it. And it starts with speaking up and saying, no, this is not all right. I don't care what you try to label me as. I am not an anti-Semite, never have been, never will be. I'm not an anti-anything. I'm a pro-life. And I don't mean the politically charged meaning. I'm saying I can't sit back and quietly watch and just act like it's all right that they are over there slaughtering these children and innocent human beings. Like I said, it's bad enough that that they're not allowing refugees any sort of safe passage, but that they have no problem at all slaughtering Children. Huh? No problem. And then beyond the direct violence, do you know the numbers of people who are starving over there because humanitarian aid is being cut off? The situation is way past dire. We have to escape the propaganda machine that tells us Israel's our ally, so whatever they do is all right. No, it's not. No, it's not. Beyond not just listening to me, how about the fact that there are Israeli and Palestinian children banding together, youth, should I say, like college student age youth, who are protesting all over there because they can clearly see what the adults can't, that this is wrong. They're willing to put aside their Palestinian and Israeli beef to say, no, look, as human beings, this is wrong and has to stop. Folks, don't take my word for any of it. Just do a little bit of research into it, a little bit of free thinking. I'm not talking about with the narrative that the mainstream media and news outlets will offer you. Folks, they're all run essentially by a small cabal of organizations that gets the narrative in alignment with all of them. And none of them have sufficient compassion, apparently, to emphasize the fact that they're over there slaughtering innocent people by the thousands and children by the thousands. Not to mention the starvation from the humanitarian aid being blocked. These people can't even go to a hospital and feel safe because it might be bombed. I'm telling you, no matter where you sit on the argument or the conflict between Palestine and Israel, that's not what I'm debating. I'm not debating anything. I'm making a plea for all of you to have enough compassion in your hearts to look at this objectively and say, wait a minute, this is wrong. There is no justification for slaughtering thousands and thousands and thousands of innocent human beings and thousands of children. I'm a parent and a grandparent. How many of you are? Use your imaginations for a second, folks. Imagine the horror of this. At the very least, we have to make it known to our government that we want no more of our tax dollars going to aid this. Netanyahu himself said that they would never have been able to pull any of this off, certainly not to the scale and degree that they have without the financial and military support of the United States. We done sent them arms, weapons, and boatloads of money. It has to stop. These are innocent human beings. Their lives matter. All lives matter. Certainly theirs do. We got to stop this. It's not all right to kill children for any reason. The taking of life is not a viable solution. But to mass slaughter children, it's unconscionable. It's not all right. And we got to stop it. Soften your hearts just a little bit. Open your minds up. Be courageous enough to withstand the anti-Semite labeling. That's for, I think a lot of people are starting to get the point that is a card pulled far too often, right? It's got to stop. A little compassion, a little bit of love, and clear-eyed free thinking is all that's needed to see that this has got to stop. The human beings. Don't let your mind and your hearts be clouded by the third world labeling that we like to throw around, or the Middle East conflict that has desensitized us so much. Not this. This can't continue, folks. It's got to stop. We cannot sit back and just say it's all right. We can't sit back and not complain to our government that our money's being sent over there to fund this. Like I said, we got enough problems here in this country that our money could be going to solve. Imagine if we applied the billions and cumulatively trillions that have gone over there in recent years to fund Israel's, in my opinion, wicked military campaign. Imagine if that money was applied here for domestic solutions to the innumerable problems that we have. But beyond that, we just cannot let it continue. We cannot just deem it to be all right or not that big of a deal or something that we can push to the back of our mind and forget about. These are innocent human beings. Folks, these are children. Big King Sadiq, Worldwide Movement, peace, love, respect. I love you. I'm out.